Have you ever felt like heaven went silent around you? Like your prayers hit the ceiling, your tears dried in secret, and your soul kept asking, God, when will you finally speak? Well, listen carefully, because this message is not an accident. You did not click on this by chance. Out of all the voices in the world, something pulled your spirit here today. And maybe, just maybe, it's because God has waited for this exact moment to tell you everything your heart has been desperate to hear. There are seasons when God watches quietly, not because he abandoned you, but because he is preparing you, preparing your spirit, preparing your mind, preparing your strength for a revelation too heavy for the old version of you to carry. And now, the waiting season is ending. You survived battles nobody knew about. You smiled while your spirit was bleeding. You kept walking when everything inside you wanted to quit, and heaven saw every second of it. Every sleepless night, every betrayal, every disappointment. Every moment you almost gave up but somehow kept going anyway. That is why this moment matters, because God does not reveal everything to everyone. Some truths are reserved for souls who endured the fire without losing their faith. Some answers only come after the breaking. And you, chosen one, have been through enough storms to finally understand what heaven has been trying to show you all along. The truth is, your pain was never punishment. It was preparation. The doors that closed, preparation. The people who walked away, preparation. The confusion, isolation, and delays, preparation. God had to remove distractions before revealing destiny. You kept asking God to explain why everything was falling apart, while heaven was actually rearranging your entire life behind the scenes. What looked like destruction was divine construction. What felt like abandonment was spiritual alignment. And now the moment has come where God is saying, my child, now you're finally ready. Hear the truth about who you are, the truth about why you were attacked so heavily, the truth about why your spirit never fit into ordinary places, the truth about why you always felt different. Because you were never created to live an ordinary life. You were marked before birth, chosen before you took your first breath, and the enemy recognized your purpose long before you did. That's why the warfare around your life has been so intense. Darkness attacks what threatens it most. Think about your journey. Why did you survive situations that should have destroyed you? Why do you keep rising after every setback? Why do people misunderstand you before they even know you? Why does your spirit feel things before they happen? Because there is something greater operating through your life. God has been trying to wake you up to your true identity. For years you doubted yourself because of rejection. You questioned your worth because people failed to see your value. But, hear this clearly today, people can only recognize you at the level of their own understanding. And many people could never understand the assignment on your life. You were carrying greatness in hidden form. That's why isolation became necessary. Sometimes God will separate you from crowds because too many voices can drown out divine instruction. Sometimes he removes everyone so you can finally hear him clearly. The loneliness was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to introduce you to yourself. And during those quiet seasons, something powerful happened. You changed. You became wiser, stronger, more spiritually aware. The version of you speaking today is not the same person from a year ago. The fire transformed you. The betrayal sharpened your discernment. The heartbreak deepened your connection with God. You thought you were losing everything, but heaven was actually stripping away weakness. Because where God is taking you, weakness cannot survive. There are blessings connected to your name that require a new level of spiritual maturity. There are doors about to open that demand wisdom, discipline, and courage. And God waited until now because earlier versions of you would have sabotaged what's coming next. But now, you're ready to stop chasing people who cannot go where you're going, ready to stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable, ready to stop apologizing for your light, ready to stop doubting what God already confirmed inside your spirit. This is the season where clarity arrives. You're about to understand why certain prayers were delayed, why certain opportunities disappeared, why certain relationships collapsed unexpectedly. Because if God had given you everything too early, it would have destroyed you instead of blessing you. Timing matters in the spirit, and heaven's timing is never random. God waited until your spirit was mature enough to handle revelation without becoming arrogant, powerful without becoming prideful, be blessed without forgetting him. That's why this message feels so personal. Your soul recognizes truth when it hears it. Deep down you've sensed for a long time that your life carries a deeper purpose. Even when nobody else believed in you, something inside refused to die. That inner fire was God's signature on your spirit. And now he is saying, stop doubting what I placed inside you. Chosen one, there are people connected to your future who need your voice. Your testimony will heal people. Your survival will inspire people. Your obedience will unlock miracles for others. But first, you had to survive your own wilderness. And you did. Even with tears in your eyes, you did. Even while fighting silent battles, you did. Even when nobody checked on you, you did. That strength did not come from you alone. Heaven carried you when your own strength ran out. You were protected more times than you realize. There were moments disaster should have happened, but God intervened. There were traps set against you that failed mysteriously. There were attacks meant to break your spirit that somehow made you stronger instead. That was not luck. That was divine covering. And now God wants you to understand something important. The next chapter of your life cannot be approached with the same mindset as the last chapter. You cannot enter your destiny still thinking like your pain. You cannot keep identifying with brokenness after heaven already called you chosen. Your identity must match your assignment. This means you must stop entertaining fear, stop feeding doubt, stop giving your energy to people who drain your spirit. Stop returning to places God already removed you from. The old season is over. A new spiritual awakening has begun. You're going to notice things changing rapidly now. Your discernment will increase. Fake connections will expose themselves. Opportunities will appear unexpectedly. Your intuition will become sharper than ever before. Why, Becca, whose heaven is positioning you. There is a shift happening around your life. The confusion is breaking. The heaviness is lifting. The delay is ending. And even though you cannot fully see it yet, God is already moving pieces into place behind the scenes. The blessing is closer than you think. But listen carefully. This next season will require courage. Because once God reveals who you truly are, you can never return to pretending you are small. That old version of you, the insecure version, the fearful version, the constantly doubting version is dying. And sometimes transformation feels uncomfortable because growth demands the death of old identities. But don't resist it. You prayed for elevation. You prayed for purpose. You prayed for breakthrough. This is what the process looks like. God is removing limitations from your thinking. He is teaching you how powerful your words are. He is showing you that your energy, your focus, and your spiritual alignment affect everything around you. You were never powerless. You simply forgot who you were. But heaven remembers, and now God is restoring your vision. You are about to walk into rooms you once prayed for. You are about to receive confirmation that changes your entire perspective. You are about to witness blessings that make your old struggles look small in comparison. Not because you're perfect, but because you stayed faithful through the storm. That's what separated you. Many people quit during difficult seasons. Many people abandon faith when life becomes painful. But you kept searching for meaning even in darkness. And heaven honors endurance. Your story is not ending in defeat. In fact, the very thing meant to destroy you is about to become the reason others believe in miracles again. The pain you survived carries wisdom. The battles you endured carry authority. Your scars carry evidence that God was with you the entire time. And one day you will look back at this season with tears in your eyes, not because it hurt, but because you'll finally understand why it had to happen. Everything connected, every delay, every heartbreak, every closed door, every lonely night. It was all leading to this awakening. So hear this deeply chosen one. Do not fear the future anymore. God did not bring you this far to abandon you now. The same power that protected you in hidden seasons will guide you in visible seasons. The same God who carried you through confusion will carry you into clarity. And from this moment forward, you must walk differently. Walk like someone heaven chose. Speak like someone heaven called. Think like someone heaven prepared for greatness. Because the truth has finally arrived. God waited for this moment to tell you everything because now, after all the pain, growth and transformation, you're finally ready to hear it. And the moment you truly understand that, everything changes. Because once heaven reveals your identity, the chains that held you begin to break automatically. Fear loses power, confusion loses control. And suddenly, the things that once intimidated you no longer feel bigger than the God living inside you. Chosen one, there is a reason your spirit has felt restless lately. You have outgrown your old environment. The conversations that once entertained you no longer satisfy your soul. The places that once felt comfortable now feel heavy. Even certain people around you feel unfamiliar now. And you wondered why. You questioned whether something was wrong with you. But nothing is wrong with you. You are evolving spiritually. When God prepares someone for elevation, he changes their appetite first. He begins disconnecting them emotionally from things that cannot enter the next chapter. Because destiny requires separation before manifestation, and that separation hurts. Sometimes it feels like losing pieces of yourself. Sometimes it feels like grieving people who are still alive. Sometimes it feels like standing alone when the rest of the world moves on without you. But what you call loneliness, heaven calls transition. You are between who you were and who you are becoming. That is one of the hardest places to stand, because the old life no longer fits, but the new life has not fully appeared yet. So you exist in this uncomfortable middle season where nothing makes complete sense. But hear this carefully. Confusion often comes before revelation. God is not hiding your future from you to punish you. He is unfolding it step by step so your faith can grow strong enough to sustain it. If he showed you everything too soon, it would overwhelm you. So instead, he gives you signs, little confirmations, small miracles, unexpected moments of peace, strange encounters that feel spiritually guided. That's heaven whispering. Keep going, you're closer than you think. And chosen one, there's something else God needs you to understand today. You were never meant to spend your life begging for acceptance. The rear. As an rejection followed you is because your spirit carries something uncommon. Ordinary environments often reject extraordinary purpose before they understand it. People attacked what they could not explain. Some feared your light because it exposed their darkness. Others walked away because your destiny intimidated their comfort. But their rejection was not your limitation. In fact, some people had to leave because they would have delayed your assignment. You cried over doors that closed, not realizing those doors were protecting you from destinations smaller than your calling. And now when you look back, you can finally see it. The relationship ending protected your peace. The betrayal sharpened your discernment. The failure redirected your path. What felt cruel at the time was actually mercy in disguise. God was saving you from settling. Chosen one, you carry too much purpose to live beneath your potential forever. That's why your spirit becomes uncomfortable whenever you ignite. Or your calling. You can distract yourself temporarily. You can pretend not to hear heaven. You can even run from your assignment for a season, but eventually God's voice becomes louder than your excuses. And lately, you've been hearing it clearly, late at night, in moments of silence, in random thoughts that refuse to disappear. That pull inside your spirit is real. God is calling you higher, higher in mindset, higher in discipline, higher in wisdom, higher in faith, because the next level of your life cannot be entered casually. The blessing coming toward you is connected to responsibility. Many people pray for elevation, but few are willing to become the person required to sustain it. God is not just blessing you for comfort. He is preparing you for impact. People will heal because of your obedience. There are strangers you haven't met yet whose lives will change because you survived your darkest season. Think about that. The pain you almost gave up in may become the testimony that saves someone else from quitting. Nothing you suffered was wasted. Every battle taught you something. The abandonment taught you how to rely on God. The silence taught you patience. The heartbreak taught you discernment. The waiting taught you endurance. And now you possess spiritual strength that could only be developed through experience. That is why the enemy fought you so hard. Darkness does not attack empty vessels. It attacks purpose. It attacks destiny. It attacks people carrying light powerful enough to shift environments. Have you noticed how certain rooms change when you enter them? How people either feel drawn to you or strangely uncomfortable around you? That's because your energy exposes things spiritually. And many times you sense things others could not see. You ignored your intuition before and paid the price for it. But now God is teaching you to trust your discernment. That uneasy feeling, that sudden shift in energy, that inner warning you can't explain logically. Heaven communicates through your spirit more than you realize. You are becoming spiritually awake, and awakening changes everything. Because once your eyes open, you can no longer live asleep. You start noticing patterns. You start recognizing manipulation. You start protecting your peace differently. You start valuing your energy more carefully. Why? Because you finally understand your worth. Chosen one, let this truth settle deeply into your soul today. You are not behind in life. I know it felt that way sometimes. Watching others move ahead while your own journey seemed delayed. Watching people receive opportunities while you stayed stuck in hidden seasons. Watching doors open for everyone except you. But heaven's timeline is different from human timing. Some blessings require deeper preparation because they carry greater responsibility. God was building foundations inside you that nobody else could see. And foundations matter more than appearances. A building with weak foundations collapses when pressure arrives. That is why your process took longer. God was making sure that when elevation finally comes, you will have the character to survive it. And it is coming. You can feel it already, can't you? That shift in your spirit. That growing sense that something is changing. That quiet confidence returning after years of doubt. This is not imagination. This is alignment. Your life is beginning to move into position with heaven's original plan for you. The delays are breaking. The fog is lifting. And people who underestimated you are about to witness a version of you they never expected, not because you became arrogant, but because you finally stopped shrinking yourself. For too long you made yourself smaller so others could feel comfortable around you. You dimmed your light. You questioned your gifts. You stayed silent about your vision because you feared criticism. But chosen one, hear me clearly, you cannot fulfill a divine assignment while hiding your true self. The world does not need another copy. It needs the authentic version of you God created before fear ever touched your mind. And that authentic version is powerful. There is wisdom inside you people need. There is creativity inside you waiting to emerge. There is leadership inside you still waking up. Stop speaking against yourself. Every time you call yourself weak, broken, or unworthy, you are speaking against what God declared over your life. Heaven never called you forgotten. Heaven never called you a failure. Heaven called you chosen. And chosen people go through different kinds of battles. Joseph was chosen and betrayed. David was chosen and hunted. Moses was chosen and isolated. Purpose often attracts pressure before promotion. So stop interpreting hardship as proof that God abandoned you. Sometimes the greatest attacks happen right before the greatest breakthroughs. Sometimes hell becomes loud because heaven is about to meet. Move powerfully in your life, and I believe that's exactly where you are now, at the edge of transformation. The old chapter is closing whether you feel ready or not. And yes, part of you is afraid, because new levels always require unfamiliar steps. But courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward while trusting God anyway. You have survived too much to doubt yourself now. Look at your life. You endured things that should have crushed your spirit permanently. Yet somehow you are still here, still breathing, still believing, still searching for purpose. That resilience is not normal. That is spiritual strength, and heaven is about to use it. There are opportunities preparing to enter your life that will restore your confidence again. There are divine connections approaching you people who will recognize your value without needing to be convinced. There are answers coming that will make past confusion suddenly make sense. God is not finished with your story. In fact, some of the most beautiful chapters have not even begun yet. One day soon, the tears you cried in private will turn into tears of gratitude. You'll realize that every painful delay was positioning you for something better than what you originally asked for. And when that moment arrives, you will finally understand why God waited. He waited because your spirit needed growth before revelation. He waited because wisdom had to develop before blessing. He waited because the old version of you could not carry the future He planned for you. But now your soul is awakening. Now your faith is stronger. Now your discernment is sharper. Now your heart is wiser. And heaven is saying, the time has come. So rise up, chosen one. Rise above the fear. Rise above the disappointment. Rise above the voices that tried to convince you that you were ordinary. You are not ordinary. You never were. You are someone heaven protected for a reason. Someone heaven preserved through impose. Sibyl battles. Someone heaven kept alive because your purpose is still unfolding. And no matter how dark the past looked, your future still carries light. So walk forward with confidence now. The waiting season is ending. The hidden season is ending. The doubting season is ending. And the life God promised you is beginning to reveal itself piece by piece. This is your confirmation. God waited for this moment to tell you everything because finally, after all the pain, silence, growth and preparation, you became strong enough to receive it.